So, original handles and original hangs. Kind of two separate topics, but related. So maybe you come across a super clean old axe and you're curious if it's got an original handle. Sometimes it's really hard to tell because sometimes maybe it's a vintage style handle or a vintage handle itself that has been replaced with and hung a long time ago, and that handle still has that character and patina. But it might not be original. So, uh, some of the things that I've come across that have helped me kind of identify that I at least suspect it's an original hang are as follows. One, if it has stamping that matches, see here, it's very faint, but it says Craftsman, matches the branding on the head. That's one of the indications that, hey, you're at least on the right track to having an original handle. If you pick up a Collins, right? If you pick up a Collins, but it's stamped True Temper on the handle, or some other kind of designation, it might not be original. Most likely not. This one here is another good example of. Stop bumping my camera. Here's another good example of. It says Collins Hickory on here. It's kind of hard to see, but it is there. So an original handle. So if the stamping or embossing on the handle, chances are back in the day it probably had some ink in there. That's long gone now. But that's an original handle. So aside from the stamping, I have never seen that I can recall an original hang that's actually hung proud. So you can see here, this hang here, it is hung flush. And it's also got a dark color to it, right? The end of that wood just patinas darker with the age of the head. Maybe it was painted black along when the head was painted. I'm not 100% sure, but the majority of the times when I see an original hang, it's darker. We'll take a look at our little Craftsman here. Same thing. It's darker, right? That has patinaed and darkened up nicely as that hand axe, Joe, has aged. So, another example here, a recent acquisition to the collection. It is a Shapley Hardware Diamond Edge Sportsman hatchet. You can see here, it is, maybe you can see here, the embossing is on the handle here too. And you can see that dark color in the top of that eye. And hung flush, right? If you're new to axes and you're not sure what an axe being hung proud means, this is what it means, right? The handle and tongue, right? The tongue part of the handle protrudes out of the eye and then is cut. It's not cut flush with the top of the eye. So this would be a proud hang, and this would be a flush cut hang. So knowing what, knowing that the original, hang from the manufacturer was most likely cut flush, that's a good indication. Knowing what kind of hangs manufacturers originally did is super helpful. If you guys watched the Is Your Axe Screwed short, you guys know that that's a take-up wedge from Plumb. So one of the indications that we know that is an original handle and an original hang. One that I suspect is also original is this LL Bean Snow and Neely Hudson Bay pattern, one of the tall eyes. And Snow and Neely back in the day used a very long steel wedge. So knowing that the manufacturer used that style can kind of help me deduce that this is an original hang too, and as such, an original handle. They're not always the prettiest. Here's an example of a really clean head, but True Temper Flint Edge Kelly Works. It was probably a lot cleaner when it came from the factory, but since it's probably swelled and moved around a little bit, it is slightly proud, but that's more just from use and it popping out of the, the head jumping down on the handle a little bit more. It was most likely cut flush when it came from the factory. And on the same line of knowing how manufacturers hung heads, an example of that too is one of my favorites, Plumb and Permabond, right? So if you know you've got a Plumb head, this one is unstamped, but it's a paper label Plumb rafter, or actually mining axe potentially. It's got the short handle and the waffle pole. But you guys know Plumb, they love to use Permabond from, I believe it was 1950. No, I can't remember why. I just I think it was the mid 50s, 55, 56, 57, somewhere in there. They started using Permabond. So you can see the model designation is actually stamped on the top of the Permabond too. So knowing what kind of hang manufacturers did is also a good clue to help figure out if your handle is an original hang. So it's not always the easiest, like I said, to figure out, especially if a handle is a little bit more beat up or weathered or worn. Some of that stamping that was originally on that handle might be gone. And again, if an axe is, 100 years old and someone, bought it new from the hardware store, busted the handle, and then replaced it, 90 years ago, the handle might look pretty weathered and worn. But that might not necessarily mean that it's original. It might just be a vintage replacement handle. So look for some of those key indicators, and good luck. Good luck finding some on some original sticks, because it's not that common. It's kind of nice and cool when you can do it, and you kind of can keep it original. So thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate it. I know this is kind of a quick one, but I thought it was an interesting topic. And it's an easy one for me to record quick and put out while I'm on vacation. So take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. And let me know if you guys have any axes on vintage handles and other ways that you guys might have a dead giveaway of like, oh yeah, that's an original handle, or I'm not so sure. So let me know in the comments. Appreciate it. Take care.